r/askreddit, what is the most disgusting thing you have ever seen, touched, tasted, or smelled? Literal chemical waste. Never thought of that, but it's not surprising. Just another gift cancer gives you apparently. I once accidentally drank spoiled milk. It was the most disgusting thing ever. Oof. As a kid I once accidentally drank a big gulp from a cup of chocolate milk that had been sitting in my room for over a week. Gagging now thinking about it. And GT, scene. The victim of a motorcycle versus semi-accident. And GT, touched. Maybe another human's vomit. I tend not to go touching disgusting things all willy-nilly. LOL. And GT, smell. The cage of the California Condor Wildlife Refuge. I thought chicken farms were the worst thing until you add all of that sulfurous smell on top of carrion. No pleasant. Talk about experience. I got 30-ish-year-old gear oil all over my face, it was in my mouth and up my nose. I could taste it for days. I have smelled week-old dead bodies, the gear oil was worse. Gear oil is the most god-awful smell there is. I feel for you on that. My packed lunch after school vacation. There have been some bad things found in a kid's lunchbox. Specifically about 2 months into summer vacation. Oof. I had a water bottle on my first day of 6th grade, and I filled it with milk and put it in my locker. End of the school year and I forgot it was in there. I opened it and it went nuclear. Had to throw away the clothes I was wearing because it smelled so bad. I forgot a watermelon on top of the fridge once. Never again. That picture is in the dictionary next to the word putrefied. Ew. I bet you it was all squishy, and rotted, and you probably couldn't even pick it up because it just collapsed onto itself, didn't it? Forgot to take the bin out before I went on holiday and there was a chicken carcass in it. Covered where the bin hung was covered in maggots and it smelled like hot sick, chlorine and sweet corn. I vomited in my mouth twice while I dealt with it. Ugh. I did this once with a whole dead crab left in the bin. When I returned, the smell was so awful I wanted to burn my apartment down. I drank someone else's vomit thinking it was a Bloody Mary. What horrible day to be able to read. I'd rather clean up the rabbit murder house 3 times over than even take a sip of that. What? Back when I used to smoke cigarettes, I went outside in the middle of the night to get my nicotine fix. It was super dark and I somehow managed to put the cigarettes in my mouth backwards, lit it, and took a big drag. The taste and smell of burnt, chemically treated cotton stayed in my mouth for days. Absolutely terrible. So, it's either that, or durian. Decaying dead squirrel. My high school forensics teacher was absolutely psycho, still to this day one of my favorite teachers, and brought a dead squirrel to school in a cage for my class to examine the decay process during our decomposition unit. I quite literally almost threw up during that unit. I gag thinking about the smell. It's etched into my brain. Ironically, I graduated with a degree in criminal justice when I went to college. The weirdest part for me is you filling up a water bottle with milk. Did you go to school in KY? Because I also had a forensics teacher bring in roadkill to observe the decomp process. 30 years ago in a copy of Nintendo Power there was a bunch of scratch and sniff stickers as a promotion for Earthbound. One of them was a hellhound. I'll never know what it was meant to smell like, but what it did smell like was barbecued dog vomit. It was horrifying and I rapidly added my own vomit to the scent. I threw it away onto the porch and forgot about it, but sometimes, when it was humid, you'd just catch that scent somewhere from a corner under the garbage. Fuzzy pickles. A porta potty at Burning Man shit on the walls with handprints from where they had smeared it all over. Chunks of on the end ceiling. Definitely the smell and scene. I quickly shut the door and moved on. And GT, on the end ceiling. Normally that stuff travels down. I guess if somewhere is going to defy physics it's going to be Burning Man, ha 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 ha. Had to lance an abscess on a cow that was the size of a football. I can't describe the smell, but it was worse than a dead animal. Touched, cold dog shit. Stepped right on it and it went between my toes. If God exists then explain this. My brother did that, but it wasn't shit, it was a dead rat. Same thing happened though. He didn't speak for about half a day. 1-year-old bag of potatoes left in a dark cupboard. I did not taste them. I was a sheep farmer. Sometimes lambs die. In the womb. Sometimes they are too big to get out and then die. In the womb. And you have to take what can best be described as a serrated wire and cut them up while they are still in the womb. And take the pieces out. Sometimes this is done quite a while after they have died. So yeah. That. Definitely sirs terming. I am ER nurse. Once I had an old patient with dementia. She had trouble breathing cause her airway was full of dry mucus. I had to aspirate her airway with a tool. All of a sudden, a big chunk of dry mucus / fluid / saliva / food came out of her mouth, sticking to her like if it was venom. I had to grab it with my hands to remove it. That scene made me gag the whole day. If you've ever opened a moldy MRE. Holy shit, that smell is pungent as hell. I know this because I'm a fighter jet pilot for the Sudanese Air Force and I've tried an MRE and also smelled a moldy one. Smelled a decomposing body. It was horrible, I'll never forget the smell. Sometimes the most recent arrival is actually a corpse from the nursing home. Sometimes, that decomposing corpse is actually an emaciated elderly person with extensive tunneling gangrenous wounds who is more than happy to hold a full conversation with you. Working TSA, I had to go through a passenger's bag by hand in checked bags. Doing normal searching of the bag, there were dozens of used condoms scattered throughout the bag. I was gagging while doing my search. Once I finished, I immediately took off my gloves and rushed to the bathroom to wash any exposed skin multiple times. I still didn't feel clean. Touched, I stepped on the carcass of a dead baby bunny my cat had brought in and disemboweled. In bare feet. In the middle of the night while getting up to pee. I had baby bunny intestines squished in between my toes. Smelled. My daughter had a friend over after school. I didn't know they sent their second grader to school in Pull UPS. After a few days her bedroom starts smelling off. After a week she wouldn't even go in there. We stripped the room and found a piss-sodden pull-up stuffed under her dresser. Moldy piss pants is nasty. I'm a nurse. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, hey race 1. C. diff infected poop. The smell. I've read a lot of these stories. And you win. Stage 4 pressure ulcer so deep it exposed the spine. Once seen a pressure ulcer so bad it tunneled into other pressure ulcers, looked like an ant farm. EMT/paramedic student here. Seen. I don't even remember at this point. I've seen so much disgusting stuff. Smelled. GI bleed. Was at a hospital clinical and a cirrhosis patient tried to have a bowel movement in the commode and missed, and I therefore had to help with cleaning up the GI bleed that was all over the floor, bed, and patient. God bless y'all that work in hospitals because I do not do well with cleaning that stuff up. My son left half a ham sandwich and a banana in his lunchbox on the last day of school before summer break. His room slowly got a smell that he claimed he couldn't smell, because kids be kids. I went in to investigate because I got tired of it and I found it. Lucky me. Diarrhea from chemo patients smells horrific. As a cancer patient, I concur. Pleurocentesis fluid. When you drain someone's lung. And I'm not talking about blood, but pneumonia type fluid. I've been an oncology nurse for a long time and that is much worse than chemo diarrhea. I don't even want to imagine what radiated liquid ass smells like.